Hey there, welcome back. My name is Katie if you're new to my channel, and this is Louisiana Cooking and Living. And today we're going to do some fun Christmas dessert. And so what we're doing, my friend at work actually asked if I could make this for her family for Christmas. And I was like, I've never made that before, but I had to give it a test run. So that's what we're doing today. And she wants a Copycat Little Debbie Christmas tree cake, but in like a cake form. So that's what we're going to do today, and then we're going to compare, do like a little taste test side by side of this and the cake we make together. So I had a hard time kind of figuring out how I was going to do the cake in the Christmas tree shape, because the recipe we're going to follow has you do it in like a half sheet pan. But this is for individual ones, and it says like use a Christmas tree cookie cutter and cut them out, blah, blah, blah. Well, we're wanting to do a full-size cake. So what I did was I got these two disposable, I should have looked at, let me look at the size real quick. I got them at Walmart. It's a two cake pan pack. It did not have the lids. There were some that had the lids. So I opted for the ones because I felt like they had like more of a straight side here to make it, when I stack them and cut it out in a cake shape, it won't have any like weird edging. And these are the 12.75 by 9 inches wide cake pan. So this is what we're going to use today. It does have these patterns on the bottom, so I didn't know what to do about that. What we're going to do is going to line this with parchment paper, and hopefully that'll smooth it out a little bit. It won't be so bad. But of course we have to cut the parchment paper to fit, and I don't want it to make wrinkles in the cake. So we're going to try and figure all this out together. So let's get started. I'm going to preheat my oven to, let's see what this says, 375 degrees. So we're going to preheat the oven and get these cake pans lined. All right, so what I did was pull it out, and I fitted one side and this front one from this side and the front. And I went through and I kind of made a crease so I'll know where to cut it along the other two sides. So it gives me a line to cut on. Let's measure this to see if we need to trim it anymore. All right, I think that's good. Now, the pan is rounded in the corners, so I want to cut off a little bit of this so it lies in there better. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to spray our pan just so that the parchment lays down better. And kind of sticks, and then we're going to spray this also. We'll do that with our other pan. And this is just some avocado oil that I put in this little dispenser bottle. All right. I'm going to set my pans aside and we'll work on the actual cake now. So the first thing it says we're going to do is, it takes 6 eggs, and it says to beat these eggs until thick and pale yellow for about 6 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do first. Is I love how my chickens lay a rainbow here. All right, so we're gonna beat these for about 6 minutes till they're pale yellow. All right, this has been going for about 6 minutes, but I don't think it got much more pale than it started out. And I think that might be just because these are yard eggs, and so their yolks start off more yellow than a store-bought egg. So we're just gonna have to go with that and know that we have different eggs. All right, and to our mixer, we are gonna add 1 white cake mix. And if you look at these, the cake part is a little yellow compared to the filling, so I'm okay. Okay, so we're gonna add 1 yellow cake mix to this. Let me make sure I'm doing it the right order. Cake mix, powdered sugar, water, okay. Yeah, so. Now I've never seen this before, but I guess because of the sweetness of the Little Debbie cake, we are gonna be adding a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar to this mix. Well, if I can get my container open. There we go. 1/2 cup. Next, we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of water and then a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Oh, it's a new bottle. It says vegetable oil. I'm using avocado oil. This is a 1/4 cup. And I typically will put the water in first if I'm measuring water and oil, so it helps that the oil to not stick to the measuring cup and it slips out pretty easily. All right, we are going to beat on low for 30 seconds and then scrape the bowl down and then beat on medium for 1 minute. All right, so now we're going to evenly divide our batter into our 2 prepared pans. If you want to measure it, it says it's 2 1/4 cups per pan is what it says, but we're just going to eyeball it. Wow, this is a smaller pan than a sheet pan, but it says spread evenly, so maybe I know that the cakes are kind of thin, but wow. All right. Okay, so now we're going to put these in the oven. We're going to bake them, it says 10 to 12 minutes until the cake springs back when lightly touched and then cool completely. So let's get these in the oven. Just make sure you open your oven all the way. All right, I got the timer set for 10 minutes and I'll check it at that point. And then after they've cooled completely, we will be back to do our filling layer, which will be fun. It starts with marshmallow fluff. So we'll be back. All right, so it's time to now make our yummy filling. It takes 1 jar, 7-ounce jar of the marshmallow fluff, marshmallow cream, whatever you want to call it. So we'll spoon in this whole jar. Hopefully we can get it all out. I wonder if this came about from when they were making marshmallows and they didn't turn out or something. They decided to sell it in a different form. Sure is nice and sticky. Try and get as much of this out as possible. And not get covered with it. All right, let me rinse my hands real quick. To our marshmallow fluff, we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of softened butter. So it's 1.5 sticks. And then next we are going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And it doesn't call for salt, but I always put salt in with my sweet. So we're going to add a little bit of salt to this. All right, now this we are going to use our whisk attachment and beat this up really good. Let me find a spoon rest. All right, we're going to whisk this up really good. Now that this is all good and blended, we are going to be adding 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. All right, we'll get this slowly incorporated. All right, so I just have one of these rectangle cake boards. I just got this at Walmart. They were like a 5-pack for a couple of dollars, I don't know. And so this is what we're gonna put our cake on. And, whoa. Actually, I think I'm gonna leave it on the drying rack for when we coat it in chocolate. So let me put this back on the drying rack. Kind of have to think out what my steps are here. All right. Spread our filling out. Some sticky stuff. All right, we're just going to spread this out to an equal layer or even layer. We don't want it to go over the sides, so I'm trying to keep it from just getting to the side. I was kind of worried there wouldn't be enough filling, but looks like a good amount. All right. See our other cake layer. It's nice and spongy. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, kind of get it to firm up before we actually cut out our Christmas tree shape. So I'm going to get this in the fridge. We'll let it sit for a little while, and then we'll cut it out and coat it in chocolate. All right, so our next step is going to be, we are going to melt 24 ounces, 24 ounces of this white almond bark chocolate. This is what you would use to make like chocolate covered pretzels, chocolate covered strawberries, anything like that. We're gonna put this in a microwave safe bowl. Anytime you're melting chocolate, you want to be very careful. It can burn, so we don't do it at 100% power. If you don't know how to use your percent power on your microwave, you are really missing out. That's how you reheat meat and it not taste weird. Or if you heat something and the outside gets really hot and the inside's not cold, it's still cold. If you change that percent power, that's the key to that. All right, next thing we're going to add is 2 tablespoons. It says Crisco shortening. I don't keep that in my house. I'm just using avocado oil. So we'll just do eyeball 2 tablespoons there. And we're going to put this in the microwave. I'm going to start at 1.5 minutes. And we'll do this on like 60% power, and we'll give this a stir. Okay, y'all, what I did was I took a piece of parchment paper and I cut it out the size of my cake, and then I folded it in half like we would do when we were kids and make like a, like the little people that would hold hands. So you just cut out half of it, and then when you open it up, it's a whole whatever. I did the best I could drawing a Christmas tree shape, and so this is what we have. This makes me a little nervous, y'all. So I have a serrated steak knife here that I'm going to try and cut this out with, and we're just going to give it a go. All right, if you had some buttercream icing or a can of icing, you could turn all these scraps into cake balls. I don't have any of that, but I'm sure one of the kids will eat this. Guess I could even freeze it until I had some icing. All right, moment of truth. Yeah, it looks like a Christmas tree. This doesn't have like a little pointy end up here at the top. All right, so I got a huge piece of parchment paper to line my cookie sheet so I don't have to try and clean this chocolate off of this cake, off of this pan. And we have our melted chocolate here. And I'm gonna just drizzle and smear. When you put that oil in it, it makes it a smoother coating. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator and let this set up before we flip it over and do the other side. All right, so I'm going to put this back in the fridge now. All right, we set up pretty firmly, so we're going to flip this over. Kind of nervous about this. Just trying to gently loosen where any chocolate may have dripped down and kind of stuck it to the bottom. All right, y'all. There we go. All right. It doesn't look like it's good of a Christmas tree from this direction, but we're going to go with it. So now we'll pour the rest of this chocolate over the top. All right, we definitely want to make sure we're getting it on the sides. Alrighty. Now what we're going to do is try to do our little red garland on it. And then we have our green sanding sugar. Woo. All right, I'm gonna put this back in the fridge and let this set up some more. So a few thoughts after making this. One, if you had a Christmas tree, cake pan, that's the way to go. Just bake it all at once, cut it in half, fill it. The other thing is I would make my little points a little bit more dramatic because they're very subtle. I mean, we can tell it's a Christmas tree, but these little points where it comes out are very subtle. So I'd make those a little bit more exaggerated so that it looks more Christmas tree-like. So let's go ahead and give this a taste test. We'll do a side-by-side test with the store-bought ones, and my husband's gonna do it along with me. So let's give this a try. First, we're gonna open a pack of this so we can do this side-by-side. I was noticing there's only 5 cakes in here, and I thought they used to be more than that, like 6. So here's our little Little Debbie one. Here's the inside of ours. And inside of theirs. Looks like a little bit more filling. Maybe. So we're going to taste them. All right. So my husband's off camera. He's going to taste test too. We're going to try the Little Debbie one first. There's not much flavor to it, just kind of sweet.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
But the cake is kind of dry too. It's almost like a Twinkie with a coating on it. All right. Now, I'm seeing, give him his little bite real quick. This chocolate coating is a lot thicker, so when you go to cut into it, it kind of breaks. But I wanted to show you how soft, and it's not dry, but I want to get some filling. That doesn't have any filling. All right, here's my little bite with my filling. So what do you think?
The outer icing is kind of a familiar firm icing, but tastes much better. And then the cake is just a lot better than the mass-produced dry.
So the outside is just melted white chocolate. It is a lot softer. And it kind of almost doesn't have much flavor, just like the Little Debbie one, I find. Although I do like it better because it is softer. I think the filling is a good, like when I tasted the filling by itself, it was very sweet and very soft. I think it's a good interpretation of the Little Debbie cake, basically. Just everything has a better texture, maybe, is the difference. That's what I would say. Yeah. It tastes a lot like it. It's just a texture thing, but it's a better texture. It has the softer cake and then the chocolate on the outside.
It does taste a lot like it. It's just, you can tell that it's better quality.
All right. I hope you give this a try. If you do, I don't know if you can leave pictures in the comments. It'd be good if you could. I'm not even sure if you can do that. To see how everybody else's turns out. If you haven't subscribed, we ask that you subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.